So here we go. The sixth cycle of political prostitution lunacy continues. And when Donald Trump stands up for us and tells us he knows how dangerous these people are, he's the bad guy. But meanwhile, the soiree of political whores, this is not a new phenomenon. Read your history. Go online, Google Professor John Warner on why we're afraid. He cites the hundreds and hundreds of incursions by Islam into Christian Europe, how they slaughtered over 230 million. That's damn near the population of the United States. 230 million have been slaughtered at the hands of Islam since this insanity started way back 700 AD ago. And the piles of bodies and the skulls piled up in the eons of time have taught neither the politicians or the stupid citizens of Spain and Italy and Greece and France and America or England that these two cultures cannot coexist, period. Okay? And that's a two-sided argument too. We don't belong over there, and they don't belong in our countries. Let me say it again. We don't belong over there, and they don't belong in our countries. Who's the only politician that's basically saying and doing that? That would be Trump. Now, here we have Constabulary Head Constable of the MTS. This is sophomoric Moronia. He's going to talk about, I want to congratulate how well we work together here at the Metropolitan Police, and, you know, like we give a shit. And you see, because this is the formula. Politicians tell you, like Hillary, xenophobic, homophobic, deplorables, right? But they all live in gated communities behind giant walls protecting their mansions. They fly on private planes. They don't got to worry about getting blown up in an airport. They don't have to worry about having their plane explode in midair like all those Malaysian flights coming out of Indonesia, the biggest population of Islam in the world, by the way. No, they don't got to worry about that. But you just keep spending your money at Christmas time in the cities like London and New York. Well, they'll tell you how safe you are. And don't be paranoid.
Lives to support all the victims and their families.
Support? What are you going to do for them? What are you going to do for them?
We are also working at full tilt to understand exactly what has happened and whether anyone else was involved.
Oh, they're working at full tilt. Oh, geez, well, I'm so self-assured now, because I thought you were basically at half tilt. But now that I know that you're at full tilt, I guess we can all take a deep breath and, I don't know, rock the Casbah.
For this reason, we expect cordons to remain in place around the London Bridge area for some time. This afternoon, I met with the Prime Minister and the Home Secretary and also had a meeting with the Mayor.
How about the Easter Bunny?
I'm very grateful for all their support.
Their support.
Indeed, we have been working closely with the government at every level and just as closely with our partners across London.
Isn't that reassuring? Because, you know, they said this would stop the last time. And, of course, it was going to stop before that the last time. And it was going to stop before that. But, you know, isn't it great that they're working together? And they're all cooperating, and we're getting all our overtime and our bonus checks. And it's too bad about you getting slaughtered on London Bridge. But, you know, tough break, chin chin.
This will obviously continue in the coming days. This joint effort mustn't stop with the authorities. As you know, we are treating this as a terrorist incident.
Oh, wait a minute. It was a terrorist incident. It was a terrorist incident. So that means we should be terrified. And somebody did something terrible. Isn't that great? Aren't you all self-assured and reassured now? Because they classified it as terrorism. Isn't that wonderful? After people get slaughtered, and now 2 are dead, only after the fact do they call it terrorism.
Fighting terrorism takes effort and determination from all of us. If you have any information or indeed any concerns, please do contact us.
Here's my concern. You protect these interloping invaders. You, Miss Constabulary, you, Miss Constable High Horse Ass, you do that. Because the whores that pay you, the politicians, tell you that's what you have to do. And if anybody dares speak the truth, or deigns to point out that in all of history this has never changed, not once, this is going to keep happening, and it's not going to stop, no matter how many cops are walking around with machine guns or not, on overtime with bomb-sniffing dogs, and the rest of your regalia of circus lunacy. Okay? These so-called indiscriminate lone wolf acts that have nothing to do with the proselytization of Islam about killing kafirs and non-believers. No. And you, Mrs. Highhorse, you have to enforce the law, so if any particular boys walking as hooligans against these wonderful people from Islam in their no-go zones, we'll arrest you properly and forthwith promptly. Because you whore, you're protecting them. And you subsidize this with your cooperation with your government and bankster bosses who want globalism.
The empty ideology of terror offers nothing but hatred. And today I urge everyone to reject that. Ours is a great...
So you reject them hating you. Did you hear that? We reject it. And while they're pulling out a scimitar trying to cut your head off, don't worry. Just tell Abdul, desist, O Muslim, because I stand against violence and evil. And of course, at said point, they'll drop their scimitar.
Because we embrace each other's differences. That the very few who seek to divide us will never, ever succeed. Thank you very much.
Well, they divided a couple of your citizens today into quarterized sections. So, bully for you. Go tell that to the families that have to bury their loved ones today. You sophomoric, self-righteous asshole. Like all the self-serving cops in New York City. If you see something there, say something. Over there. Right? But go ahead around this country, and every time Christians stand against this evil, who do you think they arrest? In Tampa, I saw it with the Tampa police. Christians were out preaching the gospel, and they were attacked by Muslims. Who do you think the Tampa police arrested? Before they asked any questions, they locked up the Christians. This is on YouTube. You can all watch it. So they stand before us, these forked-tongued snake government apparatchiks, and they lie right to your face. Listen, people, you're not safe. Lest you make yourself safe, best you can. So I suggest for Christmas, you go around, you get a flak jacket, you get a small Beretta, 9mm Glock, and you arm yourself. But boy, they don't want us arming ourselves. Because, that's where the government lets your laws end. Of all the laws, the number one most natural law is your right to live. But little pricks like this, with their hypocritical bullshit attitude, would tell you haven't the right. We're superior. Look, I've got a checkered houndstooth tie. I must be superior. Only she can carry a gun. Only she has the right to have an armed cadre protecting her like the Prime Minister and all the king's horses and all the king's men. since Isabel and Ferdinand and El Cid. Read about El Cid. Read about when the Knights came into Toledo after a tremendous slaughter of Christians at the hands of Muslims. It was around twilight, and they saw these mounds. They didn't know what they were. They were skulls piled up. But you can't talk about that because it's not politically correct. You're supposed to embrace these people. I don't embrace them. I hate them. My preaching is of hate. I hate them since 3500 BC. I hate them. I don't want to be near them. I don't want them near me. I don't want them in my country. We better wake up.